Hey, good morning, class. So today we're looking at financial math. Our first lesson. But at this time, you guys we had load shedding yesterday, and at this point, you guys have completed exercise. It will be nice if you close the door, Michael. Exercise 12.1. We have completed the exercise 12.1 already, but as I said, because of load shedding, we uh, we didn't do the recording. So this video we're going to look at the examples for exercise 12.1 and we're going to do the odd numbers as well. Okay, in this video. And yesterday we have done examples 12.2. So we're going to do the videos for 12.2's examples and what's the name thereafter. Okay, so let's go from the top quickly. So financial maths, we have covered this in grade 10, sorry, 8 and 9. We're in grade 10 now. So in grade 8 and 9, we spoke about simple interest. Not so, and in grade 9, we introduced compound interest. All right. So the simple interest is interest that is compounded. Um, Simple interest is basically interest calculated over a certain period. For argument's sake, 3 years. You work out the interest and basically it's straight interesting. Whereas compound interest is interest that is calculated on the principal for 1 year, and then we add that interest to the principal, which now becomes the new principal of year two. You work out the interest for year two, add that interest to the principal of year two, and then we then work out the interest again for year three, which gets added to the total. Okay, that it was explained in depth in grade 9 already. Alright, so let's see what they say here. Interest is money paid for the use of money lent or borrowed. Money deposited into a savings account or any other account that paid interest will be used by the bank or financial institutions. And after an agreed period of time, the money will be repaid together with an additional sum of money, which is called interest. Money that is borrowed from the bank in the form of a loan must be repaid over a agreed period of time, together with additional sum of money or interest for the use of the money borrowed. Okay. So interest is calculated in two different ways, we are told. Which page are we reading on, people? The example is on page 261. Okay, 262. And exercise 12.1 is on page 266. Okay. Another reading now. Alright. Interest is calculated in two different ways, we are told. Simple interest. Interest is calculated only on the money invested or borrowed, which is called either the principal amount, the capital, or the present value. We'll refer it to be the principal. Compound interest is interest calculated on the principal amount and the interest that is added to the principal amount at the regular time intervals. And then I used the example of where the interest is calculated on a yearly basis. Okay, so for grade, I think for grade 10, it's only compound interest compounded yearly. But grade 11, the interest changes to a different compound. So let's look at this example here. This is how we did it in grade 9. Okay? We are told 5,000 rand is deposited into a savings account at the bank for 5 years. The interest rate is 15% per annum. Calculate the value of the investment at the end of each year for the 5-year period if interest is calculated as simple interest. So if you're looking at simple interest, what we did was um, just minimize this a bit. Oops, the wrong one is. Right, so we're looking at the simple interest for 5 year period. Simple interest is 15% of 5,000 Rand each year for 5 years. The interest is paid, and the interest paid is the same every year. So when we work out what 15% of 5,000 Rand is, we get 750 Rand. So it's 750 Rand additional that is paid per year. Okay? So at the end of the first year is going to be 7,750 Rand. In year 2 is 750, year 3 is 750, year 4. And as you can see here, the interest is the same that gets added, which is 750 Rand, which gets added every month. Can you see that? So it remains the same. Okay. Whereas if you're looking at the compound interest comparison, you'll see for the compound interest, at the end of each year, the interest is added to the capital amount, the principal amount, and 15% paid on the total amount. So basically what happens here is that in the first year, it's the same, which is 750. In the second year, you see it's not the same any longer. Okay? Which means to say, I can work it out. In the second year, it's going to be 6613 minus 5750, which is 863 Rand. You see that? 863. Why? Why is that more? Because we are not using the total principal amount any longer. We are using the principal or the final amount at the end of the first year. Then we use the principal amount at the end of the second year for the third, and so on and so on. Can you see that, people? So, of course, if you're going to work out the interest over the bigger amount, of course the interest is going to be more. Not so? So, we work this out is 0.15 multiplied by 6613 gives us 991 Rand and 60 or 95 cents. You see the interest is increasing. So the next calculation is 15% multiplied by 6613. So that I did in the wrong place. 66. So that's actually this answer there. No? No, I'm supposed to use the other one. Okay. I'm supposed to have 7 7 6 7 6 0 5. That's what I'm saying. 7 6 0 5. Okay, so also what you notice that they're rounding off to the nearest rand. No? As you can see, there's no cents here, but this is 1,140 Rand and 75. So it's 141 pounds. Can you see? So what do you notice? The interest rate is getting bigger, bigger. So of course, at the end of 5 years, you do the comparison. We got 10,058 Rand minus 8,750 Rand. See there's a discrepancy away. Difference of 1,308 Rand. So what do you notice, people, is that at the same interest rate of 15%, at the same time we're in his 5 years, and the same principal of 5,000 Rand. The only difference is the one is compounded, the one is compound interest, and the other one is simple interest. So what do you notice? The compound is bigger. Not so? So if you're going to look at an investment, which one would you rather prefer? Compound interest. If you're looking at payments, which one would you prefer? Simple. Why? Because you want to gain more and pay out less. Right? Both is haram. No? Right, yes. Yo, I thought you were going to ask me something mathematical. Right, is there any confusion, people? Right, so let's carry on. So here, let's read what they say here. In the case of simple interest, the interest added each year is the same. It is 15% of 5,000 Rand, which is 750 Rand. In the case of compound interest, the interest each year increases and is calculated on the total amount, which is the capital or the principal plus the interest that has been added each year, as I explained there now. Yeah? So we carry on with the lives. So here we are told now that two graphs illustrate the difference between the simple interest and compound interest of 15% per annum. Simple interest is a straight line graph, while compound interest is the exponential graph. We look here, they have plotted the graph for us. The two graphs illustrate the difference between the simple interest and compound interest at 15% per annum. Simple interest is a straight line graph, while the compound interest is the exponential graph. Did I read the same thing twice? Okay, money in rands and then the time in years. As we saw the first year, that amount was the same. Can you see that? But look at the second year, there's a small discrepancy or difference of, say, I think it's 63, not 63. It's 113 Rand, no? Can you see that? The year already it's a small difference in. Then the second year is bigger, the third year is bigger, the fourth year is bigger. Can you see that, people? So as you can see, this is exponential growth, while that is a linear growth. Okay. Now for the first compound period, in each case, 1 year. In this case, sorry, 1 year, there is no difference because between the two, because the interest, the principle of the compound and the principle of the simple is the same. Can you see that? Whilst in the second year, the compound and the principle of your simple interest is different to the compound of the principle of the simple interest is different to the principle of the compound interest. So I'm trying to say, confusion. Right. So now we go into the simple interest formula, and they derive the following formulas. Now I know you guys have dealt with this formula last year, no? Well, the formula that some of you have been taught by your teacher was P, your simple interest is equal to P times R times T over 100. No? No? No. You gave you the formula A is equal to P into 1 plus I times N. So that was the formula given. Okay, no, that's fine. So that's the formula that I want to introduce to you now. Were you exposed to the compound interest formula? What's the compound interest formula? A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. Okay. So let's see how they derive this formula. P rands is invested at R% simple interest for n years. P is the capital amount invested, also called the present value or the principal amount. I is the interest as a decimal fraction, where I is equal to R over 100. Normally they give you the like 12%. You must put a 12 over 100. Okay. Then we are told A is the accumulated total. So when you work this out, people, when you work this out, you will see that your A is the final amount, which is your principal inclusive of that interest. So if I apply that formula, let's just apply these formulas here to this case here and see how far off are they. Okay. So if I look at the first case, if I look at the simple interest, so it was A is equal to P, and the principal is 5,000 Rand into 1 plus I, which is 15%, so it's 15 over 100 times, how many years was that? 5 years. That will give you exact value here, so that was not rounded. So it's 5,000 into 1 plus 15 over 100. That's 15 to the exponent, no, times 5. That gave me an answer of 8,750. But what you notice, Should be the same here. Can you see? That's the final amount here. Okay? And because we rounded off the compound interest rate, it will be a bit up. Okay? Not much. But that your formula here is A is equal to P, which is 5,000 Rand, into 1 plus I, which is 15 over 100 to the exponent 5. You work that out. Gives you 10,056 Rand. 10,056 Rand and 79 cents. Okay, as you can see that there's a difference. And how far off is that? 10,058 Rand. Yes, Michael? Sorry? Yes, it's fine. Right. You guys understand? Right. So we are here now. So they explained here how the formula is derived. Okay. So if you're that kind of girl that wants to know how the formula is derived, you can work through this here. Okay. A is the accumulated amount of money, also called the future value. N is the time period. So when we calculate A, remember that formula that I wrote on the board? It is this formula here. That simple interest is equal to P into P times I, which is R, we normally say times T over 100. Now you see, R over 100 is I. Can you see that? Well, P times N. T is most N, time in years. Not so. So what they do is they find the common factor of P, and then they got P into 1 plus I times N. Okay? So that's basically how they got there. If they ask you to calculate the interest, okay, the interest is equal to, the interest in rands is going to be A minus P. Or you can say that your final amount is going to be your principal plus your interest in rands. Okay, your interest in rands you're going to label capital I, and then lowercase I is going to be your rate over 100. Okay, let's look at this example. This example is on page also 262. 3. Page 263. So here we are told that 8,000 Rand is invested at 14% per annum simple interest. Calculate the total amount accumulated at the end of 6 years. Okay. At the end of 6 years. So simple interest, if they tell you simple interest, immediately what comes to mind is the simple interest formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I times N. The principal, of course, is 8,000 Rand. Is invested, so it's 1 plus I, which is 14%. That is, in other words, 14 over 100. Now, I'm not going to write 14 over 100 in all the time. I'm just going to say 0.14 times N. How many is that? 6 years. That gives us 8,000 into 1 plus 0.14 times 6. So that gives me 14,720. 14,700. So any confusion there? Right. Let's look at the next example. Yes? Yes, because I've been talking about the rents. Would you be penalized if you leave it out? No. Okay. But it's going to be better for you to write it in. That it looks like you know what you're talking about. Okay. Mr. Modisi, no? Yeah. Mr. Modisi takes out a loan of 25,000 Rand. Okay? There shouldn't be a space in. Takes out a loan of 25,000 Rand to buy furniture for his office. Okay, Mr. Modisi is not a teacher. Okay? 25,000 Rand is like a lot of money. He repays the loan over a period of 4 years by equal monthly payments. The interest charged on the loan is 6,000 Rand per annum on the full amount of the loan of the period of 4 years. Calculate the total amount that he needs to repay over 4 year period. So if you're going to work that out, in other words, we can calculate in a year, not so. So A is equal to, which type of interest is this? Okay, you take out the loan, you repay over monthly payments. The interest charge on the loan is 16% per annum on the full amount. Huh.
So isn't it higher purchase?
Yeah, they say higher purchase.
No.
You see, they need to state the higher purchase or they need to say it's compound or simple interest. Okay. So let's say we're going to consider simple. Just check in the textbook. I think they would also use simple. Simple. Okay, so if did they say it's higher purchase?
No.
No. Okay, so it's going to be P into 1 plus I times. So P is what? 25,000 there. Into 1 plus I, 0.16 times 4 years. Okay, so 25,000 into 1 plus 0.16 times 4. It's going to give you 41,000 rand. Okay. So the amount that he needs to repay over 4 years, 41,000. Okay. Now the question says, calculate the monthly repayments. So how do you work out the monthly installment? It's going to be your A over N times 12. So what's your A amount? You find the amount? 41,000 that needs to be paid back over N. How many years is this for? 4 years times 12, which is 48. So what you do is you press answer over N, which is 4 times 12 or 48. Gives you an answer of 854 Rand and 17 cents. 854 Rand and 17 cents. Not the same as a textbook. What's the textbook's answer?
50,416 rand, almost 67. But the textbook is wrong.
Okay, so how did they do the calculation? We just check.
Is it 41,000 over 48?
Over 48.
No.
It's the same as the 4 over 12. What did they get as an answer?
So I don't know what I said.
Okay, but what did they get as an answer?
3,416.
3,000?
416,67. 67 something.
So they mean to say they only divided 41,000 by 12. They didn't divide it by 4. Okay. Well, mistake. This is right in the textbook. The correct answer, 854 and then 17 cents. Because it's right in the textbook. Okay, so that the person who gets Lisa Kanya's book next year, don't jump up and say the same things you did. But thank you for pointing it out, my girl. Lisa Kanya is working very close to the textbook. Just in case I make a mistake. Lisa? Yes, nice. So you don't trust my answers? Huh? No, you don't trust my answers. Oh, how much I love you? Right? Compound interest, people. Compound interest formula. P rands is invested at R% per annum compounded interest for n years, where the interest is compounded annually. Annually means what? Yearly basis. At the end of the first year, A is equal to your principal amount plus the interest on the principal amount. So A is equal to P plus I times P. Okay, so if you take out P as a common factor, we are left with P into 1 plus I. The end of the second year, the amount is equal to the end of the first year, which is P plus 1 plus P into 1 plus I, plus the interest of that, which is that times your interest. Okay. Sorry? Next page. 26. 26? Okay. So, if we're going to work that out, of course, A is equal to P into 1 plus I, which is the amount for the first year, plus the interest that gets added. So what you notice is that what is now common is P into 1 plus P. Can you see that? So if I take this out, I'm left with 1. And if I take that out, I'm left with I. But what do you notice? You want 1 plus I times 1 plus I, which is 1 plus I squared. But do it for the third year. It's going to be A is equal to P into 1 plus I cubed. We're going to do it for the fourth year. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the 4. You're going to do it the fifth year. A plus A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the 5. We're doing it for 12 years. It's going to be A is equal to P into 1 plus I, the exponent 12. However, if it's for n years, any amount will be P into 1 plus I to the. Alright. So let's carry on with our lives. Oh, that did it here. Right, so that is what we call here. Now we are told that P is the capital amount or the principal invested, also called the present value. It's accumulated total amount of money, also called the future value. Okay. Then we are told I is the interest, N is the time period. In this chapter, assume that the interest is compounded annually. As I alluded, that it will change in grade 11. But for now, we're just keeping it simple. No? Okay. Sorry? PCU 16. Thank you. Okay. So 5,000 rand is deposited into a savings account at the bank for 5 years. The interest paid is 5% per annum. Use the formula A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the n to calculate the interest earned. Right. So where do I start, people? With the formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the. You're going to write this so often that you're going to start memorizing the formula. Okay. So what's your P value?
5,000.
5,000 into 1 plus I, 15, so 0.15 to the exponent 5. And of course, for that in our calculator, it's going to be 5,000 rand into 1 plus 0.15 to the exponent 5, not 2. Okay, 10,056 rand and oh, that is exactly the same calculation they did in the example that we started with. Not so. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's carry on with our lives. Right, so this is on page 265. We are told that determine which savings scheme would provide a better option. Now, if they had said both is at 10% simple interest and compound interest, and you got 7,000 rand that is invested in both cases, we automatically know that compound is going to be better. Not so. However, here the interest is different, so we can't just assume that. Come on. So let's go with 8. So 7,000 rand at 10% per annum compound interest for the first 4 years. So it says compound interest, what do I write? Compound formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent n. How much is invested? 7,000 into 1 plus 0.1 over to the exponent 4, since it's for 4 years. Okay. So that gives us 7,000 rand into 1 plus 0.1 to the exponent 4. 10,248 rand. 10,248 rand and 70 cents. Okay. Let's look at B. B, we are told 7,000 rand and 12% simple interest over a period of 4 years. Simple interest formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I times E. Okay. So your P value, of course, is 7,000 rand into 1 plus I, 0.12 times 4 years. Okay, so 7,000. 0.12 times 4 gives you 10,000 and 316,316. So which one is better? Therefore, the simple interest is a better. Okay. Do you guys understand? Okay. Again, if it's payment, then I would rather want to pay this. No? Because it's less than. So the note here, the second option of 12,000 and simple interest over a period of 4 years is better option. But if the investment period were longer than 4 years, the compound interest would be a better option, even though the interest rate is lower. Okay. So just something to note there. All right, another example. There are a lot of examples for us. Tepo, is that right? Father deposits money into the savings account on his son's 17th birthday. The interest paid on the savings is 11% per annum, compounded annually on his 21st birthday. People, how many years later is that? 21 minus. So there's going to be 21 minus 17 is going to be 4 years. Okay. The interest paid on the savings account was 11% per annum. So that is your I is going to be 0.11 annually on his 21st birthday. Chepo withdraws an accumulated amount of 9,867 rand and 46 cents. People, what amount is that? A or P? A. Why is that your A? So that's your final amount. Okay. How much money did this father deposit in the savings account? So in other words, what am I actually calculating here? You're calculating P. Okay. Okay. So what formula do I use? Why compound? Because that's compound annually. Compound form. So A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the n. And what's your A value? 9867,46 equals P, which is what I'm calculating, into 1 plus I, which is 0,11 to the exponent. So how do I get P on its own? We divide both sides by the interest factor here, which is 1 plus 0,11 to the exponent form. 1 plus 0,11 to the exponent. Of course, that cancels. So P is equal to, so it's 9,867.46 over brackets 1 plus 0,11 to the exponent form. Or you could have put it as over 1,11 to the exponent form. So how much was initially deposited? 6,500. Okay. The question was, how much interest was earned on the account? Did you just say 9,867 rand and 46 cents minus, going to give you 3,367 rand and 46 cents around money, no? Interest. All right. So what that you should have been able to have done. And then at this point you have done it already, no? So you should have done it. Don't know if you did. But let's look at the examples quickly. So this is exercise 12.1 on page 266. Assume that the interest is compounded annually unless otherwise stated. As we said in grade 10, it's going to be compounded annually. Okay. 12,000 is deposited into a savings account at the bank. The interest is compounded annually at 10% per annum. 8. How much money will have accumulated in the savings account at the end of 14 years? So compound interest, people, what formula do I use? A is equal to B into 1 plus I exponent. Alright, so if you haven't done this exercise as yet, I would suggest you do the exercise first before you continue watching the video. Okay. Alright, so what's your p value? 12,000. So 12,000 into 1 plus 10%. So 0, 1 to the exponent, 14 years. Alright, so it's going to be 12,000 Rand into 1.1 to the exponent, 40. It's going to give you 45,000. 569 Rand and 98 cents. What do you notice? It's a fairly large amount, but as you can see, the time period is also for a very long time. Okay. Let's look at B. B, we are told that how much interest was earned. Interest is going to be A minus P, which is 45,569 Rand and 98 cents minus 12,000. You see that amount minus 12,000? Give you 33,000. 569 and 98 cents. Yes. Well, for the interest, we'll give you the full mark. We are nice people, man. We just want to give you marks. It's just that you guys don't want the marks. No? People, RX Rand is invested in a savings account over 5 years. Which of the following would be a better option? So, simple interest, what's the simple interest formula? A is equal to P into 1 plus I times N. So, what's your P value? X Rand into 1 plus 15%, so 0.15 times 5 years. So, that's going to be 1 plus 0.15 times 5 gives me 1.75. So, that's 1.75x. Now, if the product factor of the next sum is larger than 1.75, then that means to say B would be a better option. However, if it's smaller than 1.75, B would be A would be the better option. Okay? So let's put it to this. So compound is A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent N, which is X into 1 plus I, which is 0.14 to the exponent, 5 years. So 1 plus 0.14 to the exponent, 5. Gives you 1.93. So which one is better? Therefore, 14% per annum, compounded annually would be a better option. Okay, or you can just say B is the better option. Do you guys understand? Right, let's carry on. Number 5. Number 5, we are told that Mr. Ndlovu, is that right? Okay. Takes out the loan of 240,000 Rand to start a business. The loan is repaid in one amount at the end of 3 years. Calculate how much money would he need to repay the loan if the interest is calculated as, in the first case, 16% simple interest. So 16% simple interest, what must I do? Simple interest formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I times N. So your P value, the principal is 240,000 Rand into 1 plus 0.16 multiplied by N, which is 3 years. So 240,000 Rand into 1 plus 0.16 times 3. So they give you 355,000 200 Rand. Let's look at B. It B is the compound interest. So A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent n. Your P value is 240,000 Rand into 1 plus I, which is 0.13 to the exponent 3 years. Okay, so that is going to be 240,000 Rand. 1 plus 0.3 to the exponent 3 gives you 346,000. 346,000. 246,000. 295, comma 28. So the question says, which one would be better option for you?
No, so I just said you must calculate.
How much money would you need to be? Okay, so which one would be a better one? A. Why? So in that case, it's paying? No, it's payment. So of course B. Why? You want to pay this. Not so. Even if it's by a few rands, you're going to go with B. Okay, because we're looking at pure calculation. Okay. People say I'm inherits money from his father and wants to buy a house in 4 years' time. He wants to accumulate 100,000 Rand for a deposit on the house. So he wants 100,000 Rand. Okay? Which means to say that is which value? Your A value. 4 years' time? So that's going to be your N. Not so. How much money? So that is P. How much money he invests from his inheritance if the interest paid on the investment is 8% per annum compounded annually. Which formula? Compound formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. What's your A value? 100,000 equals P into 1 plus I 0.08 to the exponent 4. To get P on its own, I divide both sides by 1.08 to the 4. 1.08 to the 4. So P is equal to, of course, that cancels. So it's 100,000 over 1.08 to the exponent 4. 73,000. 73,502 Rand and 99 cents. Okay. Number 9. Number 9, we are told that 1,000 Rand is deposited in a savings account and 2 years later, 2,000 Rand is added to the savings account. The interest is paid 11% per annum compounded annually. Calculate the amount of money accumulated in the account at the end of 5 years. So what I'm going to do is I can first consider the 1,000 Rand for
2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years. So which formula do I use? Compound. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent n. 1,000 Rand. So it's going to be 1,000 Rand into 1 plus I 0.115 to the exponent 2 years. Not so. So that gives me an answer of 1,000 into 1 plus 0.115 to the exponent 2. It's going to give me an answer of 1,243 Rand. 1,243 Rand and 25 cents. 22 cents. Okay, so that is the amount of money before the other 2,000 Rand is added to the savings account. Can you see that, people? Which means to say now, say that is your accumulated of the first investment, and it's your principal of the first investment. So what will the principal of your second investment be? 1,243 Rand and 22 cents plus the 2,000 Rand. Can you see that, people? So that's going to give us an answer of 3,243 Rand and 22 cents. Not so. So now, the second part of that formula is going to be your P value, which is 3,243 Rand and 22 cents into 1 plus 0,115 to the exponent. Huh? Calculate the amount of money accumulated in the account at the end of 5 years. We have we have considered already 2 of the 5 years. So it must be 3 years. Okay. So let's do that calculation. We first add 2,000 rand to it. And then we say that answer into 1 plus 0.115 to the exponent 3. Gives you 4,495 rand. 4,495 rand and 55 cents. Right, you guys understand? Alright. That brings us to the end of 4.1. Okay, for this example, for this one, there's only 3 sums that I need to do, so I'm going to do it immediately. There are 4 sums in the exam in the exercise. However, these are 3 sums that I need to explain. Okay, so I'll just do it now.